Hi, welcome to my walkthrough for the Oxide Ghosts and Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Before we get to the actual ghosts, let's start with some basics. So, how exactly do reserves work? How exactly do you keep your boost for as long as possible? Well, think of it this way. Think of your boosts as a barrel, and it's got a little hole in the bottom, so it's constantly leaking. Every time you do a boost, you fill that barrel. And you can fill it fast enough that it will last a long time, but it will always be running out. If you do a good boost, you'll get about 1 unit in your barrel. If you do a perfect boost, you get 3 units in the barrel. So it's very important to do perfect boosts as much as you can. And then once you've got enough boosts, you can go over a turbo pad and you will get what is called Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire makes you go a lot faster as long as your boosts remain. So as long as you keep boosting, you'll never lose Sacred Fire. And an important thing to note is once you go over the first boost pad and get Sacred Fire, there's no need to go over another one again. So you don't have to do that. So once you've got Sacred Fire, just maintain it by doing constant perfect boosts. Perfect boosts will obviously last a lot longer than good boosts. So, I mean, it's better to do a good boost than no boost at all, but wherever possible do a perfect boost, and you should be boosting about 90% of the time. This also applies to Blue Fire, or Ultimate Sacred Fire, I think it's called. Same principle. If you go onto it with enough boosts, it will last until your boosts run out, and as long as you keep boosting while you've got Blue Fire, you will keep it. And as I just said, perfect boosts will make it last longer. So that's the first thing that's very important. The second thing that's very important in these time trials is to keep to your line. So whenever you hear me say the phrase keep to your line, what I actually mean is, let's say for example you have to do a turn to the left, okay? If you're turning to the left, stick as far to the left of the track as possible. That way you will have to do less driving. If you go on the outside, on the right, you'll have to do a much wider turn and it'll take a lot longer. So when I say keep to your line, I mean keep to the edge of the corner, pretty much. The third thing that will help you a lot, it's an advanced technique, but it's not mandatory, I wouldn't say. The most important thing to know about this is that you must release the X button when you do it. That's the mistake a lot of people make. We're going to talk about air braking. It is the best way to turn, period. Here's what you do. You jump, you release the X button, you tap the square button and turn in the air, and before you hit the ground make sure you let go of square, or otherwise you will lose all your boosts. So it's difficult, but give it time, you will get the hang of it. Now, do not do these time trials unless you are using either a speed, an acceleration, or a drift class. Otherwise, you have no chance. Just take my word for it, okay? It's pretty shitty getting used to the speed and acceleration classes if you're used to turning or balanced, but turning and balanced, they're just not fast enough, I'm afraid. With these tips in mind, you can pretty much do every time trial without my help, but here's some particular tips for each track anyway. So this is Crash Cove. This is one of the hardest tracks in the whole game by far, so even though it's the first one, don't worry if you're struggling with it, it is hard. So just, as always, maintain perfect boost as much as you can. Stick to the left of that little shortcut there, that'll help a lot. And although I didn't do it just there, drive over the bridge to the left as well to save some time to keep to your line. Now, there are 2 turbo pads here, but you only really need to go over 1. I just go over 2 just out of habit. And then it's okay to drive straight at that bit we just passed there. But yeah, just essentially just do what I'm doing. Just keep feeding it perfect boosts to make sure your Sacred Fire is there. Keep to your line around this corner. And don't worry about missing these boost pads. As long as you keep boosting, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference. As for this little bit, just as I say, keep driving straight and boosting when you can. There is actually an advanced technique where you don't have to jump off that jetty there, but I've not quite got that mastered yet. So this isn't a perfect run, and a theme you'll notice with a lot of these time trials is that there are a lot of mistakes. But that just is there to illustrate that there is room for error here. It can be done, even with a lot of mistakes. And here, now it's Mystery Caves. This one is also pretty difficult. Now it's very important that you get the very first boost pad here, at least the first one. Both is good too. And then go to the shortcut here, and don't worry about boosting, just hop. And even if you lose Sacred Fire right there, that's okay. You're gonna get it back in just a minute. And if you're a bit worried about the turtles, then just drive between them. You'll not lose any time. It's not a problem. And there you go, a mistake, but we will still win. You'll see. I just go on the turtles here just out of habit, but if you're more comfortable just driving through the water, then that's good enough. And that's pretty much all for Mystery Caves. That's all you need to know. So. And now we come to Sewer Speedway. Now before Beanox patched this track, this was really annoying, but the shortcut's really easy to do now. So here's our first turbo pad. You really want to keep that Sacred Fire, it will make the shortcut a lot easier. Try and drive up the half pipe to the left there, and then just jump. It's very difficult to mess that shortcut up now. Yeah, it's quite a straightforward track. As long as you can do the shortcut, the rest is straightforward. When you come to that turn there, try to stick to the right, and that way you can see the barrel coming from either direction and adjust your course accordingly. Keep to your line around this corner here, and just keep feeding it boosts, just as ever. I'm not sure that the route I take is perfect, but and this is a difficult Oxide Ghost. You might struggle a bit with it. But just to prove that you don't have to take the shortcut every lap to win, I didn't take it. That's my excuse for fucking it up, okay? Go easy on me. And that's it for Sewer Speedway. Just stick to the right of that track just before the barrel, so you can see if it's going to roll left or right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Best of luck. And now we come to a nice easy track, Ruse Tubes. This is a perfect track to practice your boosting. But this bit here, keep to your line, stick to the left. And this is the only lap where you need to worry about getting the turbo pads. Stick as far to the right as you can. And just make sure that boost is continually getting fed. Stick to the right, stick to the left. Take the turbo pad if you want, but you don't have to. Now, when you do this shortcut, try and stick to the left. For some reason, the wall on the left has a much more generous hitbox than the little post in the middle. And that's pretty much it. This is a very simple track. This is all you need to do. Stick to your line, maintain Sacred Fire, take the shortcut at the end, and you've won. Good luck. Coco Park, a nice easy track. The most important thing on this track is two things. One, the shortcut at the start, and two, hopping over the grass later on. But we'll get to that. So make sure you take this shortcut. Try to do what I didn't, and try to get a nice big jump before you go through the flowers. And now here's the next important part. Just jump as much as possible when going through the grass. When you go through the grass, your speed is reduced, obviously, so jump as much as you can. And now it's just a matter of maintaining Sacred Fire and doing the exact same thing. So last two flowers, try and jump, kind of like that. Keep to your line here, stick to the right of the track as much as you can. And yeah, just go over the hill, hop around the corner again. And that's it for Coco Park. Good luck. And now we come to what is, in my opinion, the easiest Oxide Ghost in the game. So immediately jump to the left, ignore the track, we don't need tracks, just hop as much as you can, do the same again here, and you've pretty much already won. This, you would have to try quite hard to mess up this Oxide Ghost. I recommend this as your first Oxide Ghost because it's just so easy that anyone can do it. Even an amateur player could probably beat this Oxide Ghost. Turbo pad here, so you get Sacred Fire, but if all you care about is beating the Oxide Ghost, maintaining Sacred Fire really isn't important. If you can, then great, but you really don't need to. And then just repeat hopping on the grass. And yeah, as I say, you'd have to try pretty hard to mess this one up. So yeah, if you're looking for a nice easy start, this is it. Good luck, but you won't need it. Papu's pyramid can be quite difficult, even if you know all the tricks. So immediately, right from the start, keep to your line. Now, there are better video guides than mine on Papu's pyramid, but this should get you through it. So there's a turbo pad here, try and air brake onto it, and then hop across the grass here, just like Oxide does, just copy him pretty much, but hop more. He doesn't hop very much, and it doesn't really help. Now, this shortcut here, some people struggle with it, so do 3 boosts to the left, and then one to the right just before the jump. And that really is it. It's going to take practice. This is quite a finicky track, but really that's all. That's the only advice I can offer. It's not the hardest track. It's not the easiest either. But as long as you do these tricks, you'll be fine. You got this. Now, with Dingo Canyon, your first instinct may be to take the shortcut on the right now. I say ignore it. It's far too difficult. If you can do it, then great, but I don't recommend it. I think it's too much of a chance to take. Now, on the first lap, you're obviously not going to have Sacred Fire, so just store up as many boosts as you can for that turbo pad there, and try to maintain Sacred Fire after that. But if you can't do it, it's not a big deal. As you can see, I've already gained quite a lead on Oxide just by sticking to my line. Now, this turbo pad here is perfect. Do your very best to keep Sacred Fire from those turbo pads, because it's quite easy to hold on to it after this, and it will give you all the advantage you need. So yeah, even against all of your instincts, just keep turbo boosting here. Turbo boost to the left around that corner, and don't worry about the turbo pad. It's more trouble than it's worth in my opinion. And then just do the same for lap 3, and you will cream Oxide. Alright, on to the next one. Good luck, guys. Oh boy, Polar Pass is pretty difficult. I would put it in the top 10 hardest in the whole game. But the beginning section isn't really important, so you can make mistakes in the beginning. Just as long as you're getting some boosts, and then go over that first boost pad, keep your Sacred Fire, and here comes the most annoying shortcut possibly in the game. Here's how I do it. Just drive off the top right corner of that iceberg, and then air brake in the air a little bit. Air brake in the air, kind of goes without saying. Air brake a little bit, and you should get back on track. But the most important thing to make it easy to defeat Oxide is the ultimate Sacred Fire at the end of the track, or the blue fire. And here's what I do. I power slide as far to the left as I can, and that generally helps me to land on it. But as you will see in the end of track lap 2, I don't manage it. Now, if you can hold on to blue fire that long, you've pretty much already won. The shortcut is not mandatory, and I will show you in lap 3 what I do when I don't take the shortcut, and also just to prove that you don't need to take it. When I actually first beat this Oxide Ghost, I didn't use that shortcut even once, so it is possible. It's a difficult track. I'd say it's the 6th hardest, but it's very rewarding once you finally do get it. And you can do it. Just do what I do, except better, because I make a lot of mistakes to give you room for mistakes. Like right there, I boosted over the blue fire. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. Best of luck, guys.
like a little hard work.
Tiny Arena, I would say, is one of the easiest Oxide Ghosts, and I think a good one for beginners. If you are not very good at maintaining your boosts, just jump off every hill and you will still win. But just in case you want a little bit of extra insurance, then keep watching. I'll show you what to do, or what I do anyway. But as is the case with a lot of these videos, I make a lot of mistakes, so don't do exactly as I do. This turn here is a nightmare. What I did for the first 2 laps is I air braked, but there's an easier way. What you should do is the game's going to make you do a hard turn to the left, so just as you're approaching that turn, do a power slide to the left off the 2 hills, and then your cart will already be in position to take the turn. As you will, I do it in lap 3, and it works pretty well. So try to replicate that if you're having trouble with that one turn. It is the worst turn in the whole track, I would say. And don't worry about losing Sacred Fire here, because you're going to get it right back with those boost pads. And there's not a whole lot for me to say. Just use the standard tricks, keep your line, maintain your boosts, make sure you're using the right class of character. It's actually possible to beat Oxide with a balanced character on this, and probably turning as well. So yep, it's really up to you. I will be very surprised if you struggle with this ghost. Don't do it first, but it's really not too bad. Good luck, guys. Oh boy, this is the track that most people consider the hardest Oxide Ghost in the game. I would disagree, but I'm definitely in the minority on that. So just keep to your line at the start of the track as best you can. If you've done it right, the mine cart will never be a threat, and you get plenty of time to see it. But see, for the spiral, air brake about 3 times in a row, jump, brake, jump, brake, jump, brake, and you'll get round it faster than Oxide. He struggles with it a lot more than you will. Now, a lot of people will tell you you need to maintain Sacred Fire for the entirety of laps 2 and 3. It's not true. You don't have to do that good. In fact, I'd be very surprised if that's even possible. So here's the spiral again. Watch what I do. Jump, brake, jump, brake, jump, brake. It's hard to tell, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. Jump, tap, brake, release, jump, tap, brake, and so on. It is a difficult track, and this little bit here, jump, jump, jump. I just boosted through it. That was the wrong thing to do, but jump through it, and you should make it through. Unfortunately, sorry, there's one more tip I forgot to mention. So after the spiral here, Try to do 3 perfect boosts in a row on the left of the beams. I only got 2, but that's okay. And I messed up. And Oxide still got beat. So it's possible. You can do it. Good luck. This is, in my opinion, in the top 5 hardest tracks in the game, Blizzard Bluff. But you can get a head start on Oxide by taking that shortcut immediately. So make sure you've got enough perfect boosts stored up that you can survive this little bit here. Jumping over the lake is quite difficult, but the only advice I can give is to jump at the very last moment. As soon as you see the lake, that's when you jump. If you jump early, you're obviously going to miss it, and don't even attempt to jump without Sacred Fire. Unfortunately, you do need to complete the shortcuts on all 3 laps to beat the race. If you're confident in jumping over the fences at the end of the track, do it, it'll help a lot. I unfortunately can't do it consistently, so I didn't do it. But really, it's all a matter of mastering the 2 shortcuts. The first one's pretty easy, but jumping the lake is the hardest part. But as long as you maintain Sacred Fire, you should manage it. And if possible, do what I just did there and jump through that shortcut so it doesn't slow you down. But it was pure luck that I got that, so just do your best. Good luck. Now, Hot Air Skyway, it's a pretty difficult track, but the Oxide Ghost is actually quite generous, so everything you're going to see me do, you don't really need to do, but I'll tell you anyway. So for the first stretch of the track, honestly it's not important, none of it matters, because see how I just lost all of my boosts there by hitting the wall? As long as you have 3 boosts going over the blue fire pad, you'll be fine. Do 2 boosts to the left and then 3 to the right, and then hop. Hop at least once and then start boosting, otherwise you're going to fall off. And if possible, hit that turbo pad there for an extra boost. Boost 3 times to the right. And what I'm about to do here, you do not have to do, but it helps. Try and jump over the wall by air braking like crazy. As long as you're in the air, you can brake and turn for as long as you want, so use that to your advantage. And as you can see, if you look at the minimap, Oxide is already in the dust. So if you can get a perfect first lap, you've already won. And even if you don't, you get plenty of chances to overtake him. He can't maintain this blue fire for longer than about 10 seconds at absolute maximum. In fact, it's much less than that. But yeah, this is a surprisingly easy track. As long as you don't fall off, you've got it. Good luck, guys. This is Cortex Castle, and it's another track that's quite reliant on blue fire to win, but that isn't till the very end. So what's important at the moment is that you maintain just Sacred Fire. Don't worry about the blue fire, just Sacred Fire will do. And if Oxide gets a lead on you at this point, don't worry about it. But you really do need to master air braking to get through this track. Like that ramp we just did there, if you air brake to the right, it's a very easy jump to make. If you don't, it's nearly impossible without hitting the wall. And make sure you've got at least 2 or 3 boosts for when you get onto that shortcut there. And make sure you've got 3 perfect boosts before you go over the blue fire pad. Do 3 turbo boosts there, and then 1 after the finish line. And then just hold on to it for as long as possible. If you can hold on to it past that section right there, you've already won. That's all you need to do, is hold on to blue fire just past that crossroads. And that's really it. It's a lot of air braking, like right there. Air braking makes it a very easy turn. Even if you can't air brake, like I beat this Oxide Ghost for the first time without air braking, so it can be done quite easily. I think I beat it by like 20 seconds or something crazy like that. So as long as you can learn the track, you've done all the work already. You don't need to worry about maintaining boosts all that much, but keeping blue fire at the end there will give you a huge advantage. Good luck, guys. And now we come to the favourite track for a lot of people, Engine Labs. This is probably the most blue fire reliant track in the entire game. But for the first part, just maintain Sacred Fire, that's good enough. Keep to your line, do 3 boosts after this jump, if possible. 2 is good enough, and then what I do is I jump twice in the blue tube, and then I do 3 perfect boosts, and that will allow me to maintain blue fire long enough. If you see a gap in the barrels, use the turbo pads, like that. If not, it doesn't matter. Just boost as perfectly as you can. Do 3 to the left, and then stick to the right of the track here. Even if you hit the pit, your character will automatically jump over it, so you're fine. And then you get blue fire again. Don't worry about power sliding until you get to that turn there. And then it's pretty much the same thing, except with blue fire instead of orange fire. And that's it. It's going to take practice. This is the perfect track, apart from Tiny Temple, to practice blue fire on. But it's really, as long as you can maintain blue fire past this section we're coming up to now, you've won. It's a very easy track, and a perfect track to practice blue fire on, as I said. Good luck. This is absolutely one of the top 5 hardest tracks in the game to beat Oxide on. The good news is, if you can beat Entropy, you've almost beaten Oxide already. You just gotta persevere. Try your very best to hit that first turbo pad right at the start. It will give you a big advantage at the start. If you can't though, it's not that big a deal. And try to use that little jump there. Now, do not turbo slide here. You will hit the wall and lose your speed if you're using a speed character. A lot of people recommend using a turning character for this stage. It didn't work for me personally, but a lot of people have reported success using a turning character on Oxide Station, so feel free to try that if you're really struggling. Now we have blue fire. It's very important to maintain this blue fire as long as possible. So just try and do what I'm doing. You might need to air brake a little bit, but not too much. And as long as you can maintain it for about 3 seconds after getting it, or 5 seconds, you've won. That's the most important part of the whole track, is the section where you get blue fire. Stick to your line here. You don't need to hit that second turbo pad. Just stick to the left, and yet, just like that. And I recommend Penguin Ninja if you want a character to do it in style with. But yeah, this is definitely one of the top 5 hardest tracks in the game. So if you're struggling, you're not alone. Just focus on the blue fire section, and the rest will fall into place. I promise. Do 3 boosts in the air here. Not everyone does that. I think it's only me that does that as far as I've seen, but it's 3 extra boosts, and that's obviously going to help a lot with your reserves, so you might as well do it. But as you can see, you can make mistakes and you'll still be way ahead. Just focus on the Sacred Fire, because there's plenty of turbo pads here, and 1 big blue fire pad, so focus on those and you will win. It's tough, but you can do it. Good luck.